Tell me, how has cannabis impacted your life?
Now, this is something I've been asked a few times now. The answer is simple. It gave me my life back. Over the years of putting a flame to a pan or mincing onions, I've learned that state of mind is a powerful thing. Far too often do we let things like anxiety and depression take the wheel and steer us. The use of cannabis has taught me the importance of self-care, which has allowed me to take a step back, observe, deduce, and calculate my feelings and emotions. This has helped me in so many ways in and out of the kitchen. That I believe in this so much, I've decided to change my life and help erase the stigma behind the devil's lettuce. This is where I choose to tell my story with flavors and terpenes. Only this is where I add my own flavor, a flavor that can help people heal as I did, cannabis. So grab a joint, light it up, and come with me as I embark on this journey. This is Deliciously Dope, a journey into the world of culinary cannabis. What's up, my tokers, jokers, and smokers? On today's episode of the Daily Chronicles, we sit down with the president of THC 123, excuse me, the president of THC 123, Anthony Sabatella. The cannabis HR company that puts caregivers' rights first. They're doing it, in the commercial space, yes, for caregivers, but yeah, I mean, I really want to hear a lot more about, the cannabis HR. It's a new thing, and so with that, who else would you ask besides my man at the THC 123? So without any more further ado, y'all, let's get into it. This is the Daily Chronicles coming at your faces. It. So, real quick. So, THC 123. I've been seeing this everywhere with what was it? MyCannaJobs.com. What was that? That's the other one, right?
Yep, that's our industry job board for cannabis companies only.
Let's get this to focus again. There we go. So, tell me a little bit more about what it is that an industry person would do as far as HR. We're having some technical difficulties, but it's fine. I'm just a little blurry. There it is. There it is. Sometimes I get it. But so tell me a little bit more about cannabis HR. I would imagine it's probably something similar of just normal HR, but with cannabis, right?
A little bit, but we all know how interesting this space is. As I tell industry folks, water flows uphill where we're from. So, there's always a couple extra facets when you deal with cannabis. You deal with compliance, you deal with HR, a couple extra hoops to jump through. But, my background comes from the general HR industry space, but being the cannabis advocate that I am, I kind of took it upon myself to create that cannabis specific HR department to help, the small and medium sized guys here out in Michigan, but also the large multi-state operators. The more all of these cannabis companies can work together underneath one platform, the better off all of us will be.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that. And it's that unity that I personally prescribe to. I look at cannabis as having three different colors, aside from green, if you will. I look at black for the black market, white for the legal market, and then there's the gray area. Let's face it, you cannot have black and white without gray area. And there's a lot of operations that happen in the gray area that are good for both markets. They all have their place. And that's essentially, saying the same thing, and that's, I like hearing that, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. At the same time, and I know we talked a little bit about this before, but you're a caregiver, right?
I am. I recently became a caregiver. I'm now finally going to take the first step into growing the plant myself. I definitely want to become a student of the game first. Unfortunately, cannabis being, the in thing now, there's a lot of people that jump the gun, and, before I go and, I always try to put out the best product possible. So, I definitely do a little industry knowledge, meet some great caregivers, meet some great people along the way. We're jumping in 2 feet there. I started THC 123 as an ancillary business to, help the medical market before rec came in. We did that back at the end of 2017, right when the MMFLA came out that allowed the commercial growth and the commercial processing and provisioning centers, safety and secure transporters. Right when we saw that, we knew, there's people here that need these services, that need this help, and it doesn't make sense to internalize.
Absolutely. So all of those have a place. Okay, so listen, let's just talk about cannabis transportation for a second, okay?
Cool.
I could legally grow 12 plants. Let's say I grew all 12 at the same time. Legally, I could do that, okay?
Yeah.
Some people don't. Let's say I did. Now I have, let's say my harvest went really well, and I got a half a pound per plant, okay? Let's say that. That's 6 pounds of marijuana. I cannot, or cannabis, excuse me, I cannot travel with that. So that's, you can grow as much as you want. You can't take it anywhere, little by little, but that's, that's a whole different story. However, if I called a cannabis transportation company and I could pay them to transport it. You know what I'm saying? I think that they deal with more of a commercial basis, but you get my point. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's more of, listen, there's laws in place, for a reason, obviously, but without the work of the black market, we wouldn't even have anything remotely to legal now. And so, tip of the hat to everyone. And like we're saying, man,
I don't mind getting some stuff off my chest too on your show, Rodney. This industry wouldn't be shit without the traditional market. I mean, that's where industry knowledge is. That's where your expertise. That's where the roots of this industry are. The grassroots.
That's where you learn the metric system. You know what I'm saying? Like shit.
Yeah, well, that metric system, not the one that became to sail through. See, they tried to flip the script on us.
Exactly. Now, notice one metric system doesn't work with the other one. Why aren't we switched yet? You know what I'm saying? Like shit. I knew the metric system back. Like if Dare taught me anything, it taught me the correct use of the metric system. So thank you for that. Plus the t-shirts aren't really bad if you get the tie-dye one. So.
Oh, I got 2 t-shirts and 2 hoodies of them.
You had it for more than 1 year, didn't you? Then.
What was that?
You had Dare for more than 1 year, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to go through it a couple times.
I unfortunately had to as well. Because we moved right after we had dare, and I'm like, all right, cool, never do that again. Right into another dare class. I was like, shit. Where's all the answers? So I was that golden child that was like, oh, this kid's never gonna. I smoke weed now. Like that's what I.
That was me too. I signed my dare my dare promise. I had it all, and then I was probably like 17 or 18, and smoked weed, and kind of the rest was history from there, my friend.
Listen, I've got sponsors, no bullshit, and they'll back me for this, that will pay somebody to find and bring me a copy, that's fine, of my signature of the dare. If you guys can bring that shit, there's people, it's the internet. It's the internet. You can get anything you want. If you could bring me a signature of me signing my life away to dare, I will never smoke weed again. But I know in the hills of Tennessee, that shit went straight to the fucking C file as soon as that guy left. He was like, nope, these guys are idiots. I'll be arresting them in about 10 years. That's cool. You know what I mean?
Well, they actually showed that the DARE system actually got more people into drugs than it kept them out of it. You know, it's I mean, the same thing with the war on drugs. I mean, Nancy Reagan, just say no. You know, drug use was, I think, 2% of what the nation's populace thought was the biggest issue at that time. After the Just Say No campaign, I think that skyrocketed up to like 48%. I know the internet will fact check me and tell me my numbers are off, but please tell everyone the right answers. You guys get this.
But your point is still valid, okay? Regardless of semantics of numerical values or not, it's still valid. Your point is still valid because, facts don't care about your fucking feelings. You know what I mean? And that's my point. Like, back when, they were like, oh, don't ever do drugs. Why? So it's just like, I learned so much from doing drugs, though. And it's to the point where...
There's something said about that. They say you only use 10% of your brain, Ask me how you think you use the other 90%.
Subconsciously, exactly. And there's some theory papers that I wrote in college before I had to drop out because I couldn't afford it, but that were really good, that were written under the influence of cannabis, immensely so. That eighth was very well spent. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. Oh yeah,
I got some of those CBG joints we were talking about. I had one.
From Rob.
Oh yeah, he was at that cannabis event this weekend. Jamie, she put on a hell of a show, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, what was it? The Cantina with Sepsi.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I could not go, but I did see that it looked pretty bomb. I saw that smoke sesh out on the beach, right off of Lake Michigan. Can't get no better than that.
Nope.
I actually went out when Jamie was running an event out in Vegas. I mean, we're at the top of the location in Vegas and smoking a joint. I go, we're bringing this stick across the globe, baby.
Get it. I love it. I may not agree with all of the companies there, and I'll say that openly, but I don't have to respect them. Okay, I don't have to. They know who they are. That's all I got to say. But at the same time, I went there to show respect to, I go to these events to not only to get my name out there, but to show appreciation to other people. Like, dude, Jamie put on a hell of a show. She did that all over,
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
She busts her ass. She's one of the most motivated people I've seen here in the space, and that's where that's opened some wonderful doors for her.
Mm-hmm. And that's my point. So when a person sends you an invite and was like, hey, I would like it, absolutely. That's not even a question. Thank you for thinking of me, and that feels good, and that she makes you feel good. Like, come on. There's pictures of the sunset in Lake Michigan that I took that I'm just not going to get back. You can't recreate that shit. While smoking a joint? Are you kidding me? Yeah, I went just for that. You feel me? She wouldn't be mean. No, nobody cares if there was a drone flying around taking pictures of people. That's cool. There totally was, and it was totally cool. But I digress a little bit. So, what I want to know is this. Let's say that I wanted to start a company, and I go to thc123.com. What can I expect after going to thc123.com? Sorry.
You will come right into our front end of our human resource information system. So, Rodney, I'm going to take a step back and
Sure.
just explain a little bit of where the branding, what we're doing, just so people can really put their finger on it. A lot of people think they know what we do. Others, have reached out and really found out what we can do for them. So we have 3 different license services that all fall underneath employment and HR. We're a licensed professional employer organization, or a PEO. We are a licensed employment agency, and we're also a licensed insurance agency. So what that means for these new startup businesses that come into the cannabis industry, that guess what are you worried about, Rodney? Oh yeah, growing cannabis, processing cannabis, getting the medicine out to the people.
Right.
Instead of worrying about all that, which should be the main focus, companies, they got to worry about making sure payroll is there, making sure the direct deposits are set up, making sure that their FICA, FUTA, SUTA taxes are paid. If they want to be competitive in the marketplace, they need employee benefits. If let's say there's an injury at work, I know of one that happened in the industry on Friday, and that's a workers' compensation claim. Who's going to manage that claim? If you're worried about growing this business and scaling this piece, your livelihood, why are you worried about all of these other ancillary pieces? So what we do is we take all of the back office admin off of people's plates.
So is that referred to as vertical integration?
If a company has a cultivation, processing, and provisioning license, then they would be vertically integrated.
Okay.
So, we do some work with people around the state, and definitely being able to manage your workforce, especially if your workforce works some in the cultivation facility, some in their processing lab, others are working front end retail for them. You got to track those hours. You got to track the different locations. Those are different workers' compensation class codes. And, if you don't track it down to the hour like you should like that, what that work comp carrier is going to do is roll all your premium up to the highest rated code for you. So, you're literally trying to build your livelihood, but just throwing pennies and dollars out the window.
Hemorrhaging money at that point, yeah.
For things you don't need to. Because none of the things that I mentioned make any of these companies money. None of them. They're worried about growing marijuana, growing clean marijuana, getting medicine out. Creating their product, creating their brand, their identity. Let them worry about that, not this shit.
Right. So you allow the let's say that the business owner to worry about quality versus quantity.
I would say we make them worry about their revenue generating activities. What are you getting into business to do? Are you trying to build the largest retail front, in cannabis? Awesome. Go and do that. Are you trying to build the best edible brand?
Okay.
Awesome. Go and do that. Don't worry about, reviewing resumes, interviewing people, doing things in a very old-fashioned way, because it's just, like you said, siphoning money, because it doesn't always have to come out on a dollar. It comes on your time. What are your employees doing? Are they spending money building your brand? Are they spending money and spending time doing your payroll, making sure your Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance plan is paid, making sure, the state has your 941 on time, making sure your employees have their W-2s at the end of the year. At the end of the day, it's hemorrhaging money. So if you can outsource that at a lower cost, all it is saving you time, energy, and money.
Oh, 100%, which is a greater return on the investment, overall, if you think about it, because here's the thing. You can only bleed out so much before you bled dry. And, like that Puffco?
Yep.
There you go. Nice. I like the color, too. I didn't know they come in different colors. But that's the point of it, even if you're going to be a mom and pop shop, this is something that, THC 123 can help you with, definitely. From that to the commercial, it's not hard to do. And I honestly think that there's a huge, market, not just a market, but like there's a huge need for this. There's a huge need for people to, basically, okay, here's what I need, here's what I want to do, here's my, I guess, pro forma or something of that nature. Let's go, let me focus on this while you guys do that, and then boom, it happens. I think that's brilliant. I think that's,
I mean, that's going to be about it. HR is a necessary evil. We all know it. It's like death and paying taxes. You got to do your HR stuff too, or the DOL will just shut your shit down. So it's, if you can use a platform, use a technology platform as well, that you can then scale that, because this system, the HRIS system we're on right now, Prism. So 2.4 million employees around the U.S. are already on this system. It's about 1% of the U.S. population already uses this system. So if we're able to scale up to 1% of the U.S. population, we can probably handle the scalability of your brand. Because instead of growing, HR internally by one person at $40,000 a year, another person at $25 an hour, if you can if you can outsource that, and we all use one HR department, and we just scale that for everyone, that's what we're trying to build. Because they'll look at us, Rodney, as one large employer made up of many small and medium-sized businesses. So if we're able to get the buying power of, for example, 20,000 employees, worksite employees, that's going to be cheaper workers' compensation rates. It's going to be cheaper employee benefits for you. You're going to have more flexibility in the marketplace, because you're going to be looked at as a monster instead of, driving your business from the ground up. You know what I mean? If we're all in it, to win it, if we're all in it for Team Green, why don't we all at least agree on this side?
Exactly.
That if we use, a system like this, all of us will prosper. And that's truthfully what we're looking to do here, is to do that. And that's through the heartbeat of this industry, and that is with people. So Rodney, that's where, we have some of the most important jobs is to get, high quality professional people into these facilities, to screen them, to get some of, let's call it the imposters, like you said earlier, you called me a caregiver, does that mean I'm writing master grower on this resume and walking into a door? Is that somebody turning over the keys to a multi-million-dollar facility to some dude who might not know shit? Yeah, it's scary, but what we do is add that layer of insulation for these companies to allow them to keep their eyes on the prize. There's so many pitfalls in this space where you can just step into a bear trap for no reason. Like, it's very difficult to, and you can even look in the general industry, Rodney. They say within 5 years of a startup business, 50% are out of business, and 75% are out after 7.
Yep.
So if you already know that using a PEO will decrease your chance to go out of business by 46%, and that's already with general industry businesses, why, cannabis, we're smart. Why are we not all on this right now? You know what I mean? And that's truthfully the unified front, and, kind of the Team Green mentality that, I'm looking to bring to the industry, to, start linking up, these companies so we can work more as a united front instead of a very disjointed community, because there's so much tension. There's tension between your advocates. There's tension between your traditional markets. They're all pointing the fingers at the guys doing it right. They're like, we're the first girl at the dance. We're trying to do this. Like, somebody try to get behind us, so there's so many ways, this plan can help us. We need to focus on that prize, and that's 100%. Get everybody focused back on that stuff and leave all the administrative BS to us.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that there's a necessary spot for what you do, because let's face it, it hasn't been done this way before, and there's no rules or regulations because, well, it was illegal for so many years, you know, and so that's where, yes, absolutely, I could see mycanadajobs.com and THC123.com. The importance of those is astronomical, and especially more so because, let's face it, there are going to be, and I can't speak for everyone, but there are going to be people from the traditional market, if we want to call it that, aka the black market, and the white market wanting to, there's an interest in these jobs. You know, it's new. You know, you could have a love for the plant and want to be a bud tender, you know, and things like that, or you know, work in HR, or be said master grower that actually knows what they're doing, you know, and so things like that. And so that's why we're creating these jobs, you know, and that's why we're creating this industry. That's what we're doing. We're all pioneers right now, you know, and I honestly, I revel in the fact that in a short few years, I'm going to be able to look back on this episode and go, I sat down to that man, you know, and talk to him about look what they're doing now. You know what I mean? I know that because I can see that, you know. I can't tell the future. I've tried to convince myself to give me lottery numbers. I'm an asshole. And it just doesn't work. But right. But that's the point of it, though. Like, we know that, okay, listen, you know, we formulated these documents and these formats and these ideas and these layouts, these outlines. We know what to do, and we also know how to add cannabis. It's much like me cooking with cannabis. You know, I know how to cook beforehand, and then adding it's a whole different thing, but, you know, I know that as well. It's still up my alley, you know what I mean? And a lot of people were like, well, hey, man, try this gummy. You're like the 15th person that shoved something in my mouth in the last hour. Can we just at least, you know, hang on? You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, you know, for the most part, one of the biggest things that I can complain about as far as edibles real quick is just the amount of distillate in things. It's just, distillate's not good. I'm sorry. When you put it in edibles and you're trying to, I wouldn't say heavily dose something, but properly dose something, distillate's hard to kind of cook out, you know, in a sense, you know, and so that's my own little faux pas about distillate. Still waiting to be proven wrong about that, but we'll get there. Speaking of getting there, it's about time that we roll into the dubs, man. Real quick, we're gonna do a commercial break from our people over at Pigfish Dime Mag. Real quick, we'll be right back with the first time dubs. That's Pigfish Dime Mag. Y'all go to pigfishdimemag.com. Check it out. I wrote a little ditty in there, and the new edition is out now, so go scoop it. I'll go check it out. But we're here with my man, Anthony Sabatella. Did I say that right? Sabatella?
Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, all right. Sabatella from THC123. Hey, man, tell me, what was the first, how was it like the first time you ever smoked weed? Like, set the stage. Like, what happened? What were you doing?
At the stage, if I remember correctly, I'll tell you the first couple times. First time I remember correctly, I was a junior in high school. I think it was the day after my last football game. I ended up going to a little senior party. You know how those guys are.
Oh yeah.
You know, bad influences, right? Yeah. And yeah, my boy was rolling some tree. You know, I knew this cat. You know, he's actually a pretty good friend now. Go see it. And he was doing exactly what I'm doing right now. I was like, "You guys cool? I hit that. Like, fucking." You know, don't have football in the morning. I haven't got anything to worry about. Let's give it a whirl. Smoked, I liked it, and you know, all right. You know, went on with my day. Smoked it, grabbed some more off him, smoked it again. Really, nothing happened. Then the third time, I did the same thing, and I got this insatiable ass hunger. me and my buddy AJ, I ended up knowing this cat since I was about 4 years old. All the way back to preschool. So we're graduating our junior year or not graduating, but we're getting high. Then we went to White Castle. We smashed the whole crave case, my dude. I smashed that entire thing.
There's a movie about that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
There's a movie about that.
Right, yeah, there's also a movie called The Truman Show, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I've smashed a couple crave cases. I won't lie to you. I'm not happy about it, but listen, there's nothing more perfect than having the actual munchies. Like that's a thing, okay?
Yeah.
But there's nothing like biting into a sandwich when you're just comfortable. You know, smoke a joint, get a little hungry, bite into that sandwich, and you're just like, this is a good sandwich.
Yeah.
You know,
doesn't even matter what kind of sandwich it is. It's a good sandwich.
It could just be
It's a
bread.
good sandwich,
It could just
right?
be bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
All you had was mayonnaise. You know, it's a damn good sandwich.
Sandwich.
Right. I like making toast with mayonnaise, actually, to tell you the truth. Take you a little bit of mayo like you would like with butter, and then put it, you know, like you would do a grilled cheese. Cook it like that. Do your grilled cheese like that from now on, I'm telling you. Don't put too much mayo on there. You're not trying to burn it. You know, like you would butter. Like just butter the back of your bread, and then with mayonnaise, and then stick it on there and let it cook. I guarantee you do it that way.
You put that on the inside? You put that
On the outside.
On the outside?
So you know how you would do a grilled cheese? You butter the outside, cheese on the inside, flip, tan it, call it a day. Instead of using butter, use mayonnaise.
All right.
It sounds crazy. Trust me, because think about it. What's butter? Butter's the fat. That's all you're doing is burning the fat. So that's how you get that char. Mayonnaise is the fat too.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's exactly what it is. So it's funny because one night I remember I ran out of butter and I had a bunch of I worked at a bar and I had a bunch of sandwiches, you know, grilled cheese, like we call them Goliaths because there's like 7 different cheeses and some ham on there and stuff, but I couldn't make them because I didn't have any butter. I was like, fuck it, I'm using mayonnaise. And you know what? They started using them that's how they're made now. So it's like, all right, you know, a tub of mayonnaise is so much cheaper than butter because, you know, let's face it, butter's considered dairy. It is what it is. It's got milk in it. It's cool. It's expensive-ish. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Now, let's go back to your first time when you picked up that sack. You know, you were smoking a couple of times and stuff. So what was the first thing that was it a joint that you said you were smoking? Because he was rolling it up. You were hitting on that, right?
The first time I smoked a joint. The second time I smoked out of a bowl.
Okay. We were just talking.
The third one was a joint.
Okay. Hell yeah. I mean,
I remember my first gravity bong. that was maybe like my 5th or 6th time, and I didn't know what the fuck I was getting myself into. And I sat down, and this cat had these small little Slim Jims right next to this gravity bong. I damn near ate 30 of those motherfuckers.
Oh shit! I love it. I love it, man.
Oh, yeah.
I've been there too. I've been there too. Like my friend left me in his apartment real quick to go on a beer run and told me I could smoke, and then I smoked, and I was like, yo, I'm eating those Doritos. I don't give a shit how much I'm smashing those Doritos. He's madder and shit. He's like, how the hell are you gonna eat a whole bag of Cool Ranch Doritos in 2 minutes? I was like, don't ask. No, it's magic.
Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but it occurred.
Exactly. Things happen that you cannot. Yeah, you cannot recant this. I love it, man. I love it. But we're going to take a real quick break with a message from Hempful Farms out in Arizona. Chris and Andy Martin, yo, they're out absolutely killing it. Check them out, hempfulfarms.com. I was talking about this earlier to our producer while we were in the studio doing something else, and we were talking about dabbing CBD. A lot of people don't know that you can dab that. Dude, they make an amazing dabbable CBD. It's green crack, and I've smoked green crack. It has a very distinct flavor, robustness to it, very pungent. You know it.
Yep.
And I hit their CBD dab. Oh, let me tell you. Very good. Very good. Speaking of things that are very good, this next segment is the favorite dubs. It's all about your favorite kind of like just cannabis all around. So what's your favorite way to consume cannabis? Edibles or smoking or a mix of the two?
Favorite way? I would say joint. I roll joints.
Bangers, it looks like. Was that the old school 2-pile technique?
What was that?
Was that the old school 2-pile technique?
A little bit. I learned from some of the old schoolers.
That's how you do it, though. I mean, listen, that's how you know you're rolling a banger. You know what I'm saying? Like, too many times in my life would I give my weed and joints to somebody on the line or somebody that wasn't busy and told them to go roll a joint. We're doing a safety meeting in 10 minutes or as soon as the board's cleared or some shit, you know? And listen, either you can roll or you can't. There's no, if you can't learn, that's pretty much it.
That's what I had to do. You had to ask questions and learn, and don't be scared to be ashamed that you don't know how to do something. Because like, what was that Anthony Bourdain said? He said every, I think it says like every gentleman should do something very good, and then also know how to roll a joint.
Absolutely.
And that, I think both of them.
Cook an omelet, wipe your ass, roll a joint. That's what he said. You need to be able to cook an omelet correctly, wipe your ass, and roll a joint. That's absolutely what he said. And he's fucking right. That's the point. I mean, just don't do all three at the same time, and you shouldn't have an issue. But I wonder, though, because everybody knows a place, man. Like, where's your favorite place to smoke weed?
Ooh, favorite place to smoke weed? I like smoking like on the homestead, to be honest. I'm in my zone, I'm in my space, my Zen den.
There you go.
Other than that, in public.
There you go. I'll be honest with you, even at the Canada events where obviously smoking is encouraged, you still look over your shoulder a little bit with a little bit of like, are you sure though? Like there's that hesitancy.
It's old muscle movements.
Exactly. Exactly. Head in a swivel, and that'll go away with more work, I guess, from myself and Mr. THC 123 here, because like we advocate against the stigma as well. That's what people don't really understand. We're trying to advocate, educate, and honestly a little bit entertain. Let's face it, this is kind of entertaining, kind of. but for the most part, that's they're real people out there with real jobs doing real things. And that's my point. There's this brand new industry coming out of anywhere that, let's face it, has been here all along. But it's becoming more, it's coming out of the daylight. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not just working night shift anymore. We're working 3 different shifts now, and it's becoming more and more part of people's healing, first and foremost, but secondly, their lives. You're going to start seeing this in countries around the world. It's Connecticut. Not Connecticut. What state just signed in? Mexico's legal now. You know what I'm saying? Israel has a program. These companies who would literally put you in prison for the rest of your life for having a weed leaf on your hat. And they're like, okay, now we have these medical programs and shit like that. I don't think that anybody should still be locked up for a fucking plant anymore, but we're fighting against that. You know what I'm saying? Like, incarceration for cannabis is...
That's the war on drugs. That's what we got from this. And every country in the UN went and followed suit and followed the US right off the edge of the cliff. And instead of treating this like, Portugal does, and, the Netherlands that treat, drug use as a health concern instead of a criminal activity, what it does is actually bring down that criminal behavior. I mean, it was over 50%. It was almost overnight, because you de-incentivize the unscrupulous characters from working a service, and at the end of the day, you let economics work itself out, and the private sector will do it more efficiently, and they'll do it safer, and then you actually treat it for what it is. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? You know, if you're going to go and sit here and say, oh, you know, I think medical cannabis is good, but still go and lock up people of color at a much higher rate for doing this, but you allow, you know, somebody who has deep pockets to come in, and now he can grow, you know, pounds and metric tons of it, and it's perfectly fine. The government and the industry and you know, these private funded prisons, we all got to get on the same level and look to abolish what the war on drugs did. You know,
Absolutely.
It's really unfortunate. I mean, I haven't seen any other war that's had so many prisoners of war, literally and figuratively, than the war on drugs.
So
and what is it other than destabilize, you know, families? And I'm really happy that the cannabis industry has a chance to start doing some reparations for, you know, those sort of things that have gone on over the last 40 years.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that, you know, when you look at it, so let's go back to the war on drugs real quick.
For sure.
Nothing is taking as serious. Okay, I would rather, there was a point in time where I would rather get busted with a Coke rock on me than a joint. You understand? Because here's the thing: if you got a Coke rock on you or something like that, like you could be like, oh, rehab and da 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 da. You know, they want to reform. They want to reform you. You get busted with pot, straight to jail. Are you fucking kidding me? That's my point. So, and it's such bullshit. Okay, because real talk, like, this was started from corporate greed. You know, the reason that we don't have anything to go off of right now is because you motherfuckers made it illegal for, you know, 60 plus years. You know, and so it's like,
you don't let them in the same industry that they were working on.
Exactly.
Talk about prisoner of war. So think about this. This is how ingenious this looks. Is you basically say, here, everybody that actually has experience in this and that we successfully, you know, took down, no longer can do this. Like, right. And then you wonder, like, oh, why your plants are dying? Like, you know, it's almost comical, but, you know, we got to look at the laws, look at what the lawmakers put in, and, you know,
verbiage is important.
I mean,
verbiage is important. Sorry, go ahead.
You know, I think I understand, you know, if that controlled substance was involving a minor or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're just getting, you know, controlled substance for marijuana and now you're disbarred from the industry for at least 10 years. I mean, I know some wonderful people that are standing on the outside looking in for that reason only, you know, and then you can petition to get that person in, but they'll give you a response in an indeterminate amount of time. You know, it's comical, you know, but
right.
Like we're
sad is what it fucking is.
It is, you know, and that's why it's like we're HR, we're the people, we're for the people. I see all of those different perspectives, and it's really up to us to really kind of tie all those different market segments that you mentioned before together. Right. And that's what we can do, is that third party intermediary, you know, and we can really do that on a united front.
I mean, it sounds like, dude, I like it, you know, and it's not just, I'm not one just to grab a sales pitch and go, let's buy this one. That's not me, man. I look at the facts. Mm-hmm. Like, I've had people come to my door and try and sell me knives, and I'm like, no. They're like, you're a chef. You'll appreciate this. I'm like, how about you don't? Like, how about you don't? And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, wait, can I sharpen this with a steel? They're like, yeah. I was like, but wait, it's serrated. They're like, but it's that special. You're an idiot. Like, I get it, but here's the thing. What I don't hear is a lot of falsities. You're not saying anything that's not incorrect. You know, we all know this to be true. You're just the one pointing it the fuck out, which is obviously what we need to do in this case, and I can't agree more. But the fact of the matter is, you're doing it for the right reasons, and for that, I thank you.
Thank you.
Real quick, after this message from Noble Road, actually, I'm sure you heard about Noble Road here in Lansing. After we come back, we're going to get right into the crazy dubs, all about that one time you may or may not just got way too fucking high. When we come back, stick around, guys. That's my favorite butterfly, and I don't care. The butterfly is amazing. We're back with Anthony Sabatella with THC123 and mycanadjobs.com. This is the crazy dubs. This is the part where sometimes people don't want to tell us, but they incriminate themselves anyway. It's that part. This is meant to embarrass you. Cool. It's all about that time that you just got way too fucking high. You want to tell us about that? You got one time?
I got one time. This is probably my like fourth time getting high, Rodney. So right in the same wheelhouse, probably my junior year of high school. So the same cat that rolled me that first joint, right? I already knew I already knew what he had, so I went back, So we ended up, I ended up getting some from him, and we smoked it before the craft show. And I went to, and this was kind of like a big deal at our school. Like I went to a private school, and they brought in like the president of school. They're all like brothers and shit. They wear all the the whole black, the whole shoe and shebang. So I am lit like a fucking Christmas tree, walking around this craft show, and I have to like volunteer to help. Like it's part of our like hours that we have to get into like graduate. And I'm like, it's stupid. Like, but what I mean? I had to jump through my hopes. I had to cross my I's, dot my T's, all that shit.
Right.
So I did exactly that. And then I had to go and they gave me a ticket, and I had to go get somebody's food, right? Mm-hmm. So they gave me the order. I got the ticket. I brought it to the window. They're like, "Sir, we can't take this." They gave it back. I really didn't know what the hell else to do. So I like walked back to him, dead ass, gave him their ticket, and just walked the fuck away. That was probably one time I was like, I'm too high for this shit.
Nope, not today, Satan. Nope.
Nope. I rebuke you.
I feel that, man. There was I remember one time I was dating this gal who her brother was a grower. He had his med license. He was legit, but the fact that they lived together, you know what I'm saying? Like when she would get, yeah. So that's where I got it from now. You know what I mean? Because it was good. It was fire. I was like, we all say that, but it was good. I remember one time he's like, "Hey man, don't smoke that before you go to work." I was like, "Yeah, okay, come on, whatever." And I fucking did. I had to work early that morning, so I had to be there at 6. Kind of important stuff going through. A lot of catering and private dinners that day. But I remember smoking that joint, walking in, everything was normal, everything was cool, the big vibe, and it didn't hit me until I'm staring at all the catering menu boards for the day, because we had numerous little like dining rooms and like rooms, like conference rooms you can go into, and we could all service them and stuff, and it was like right as graduation season, and so everybody's got those private dinners and da 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 da. It was just we had more business in catering and private dinners that day than we did regular business, so all hands on deck.
For sure.
I completely zoned out. I'm just like, it didn't, done. Just gone. That coffee was my life, I will tell you. And I was just like, no, I have to go outside for a minute. And they're like, "Is it a lot?" I was like, "It is a lot." And they're like, "We know it's a lot." But like, then that's when your team peps you up and da 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 da. And we get that. Everybody's got to, take a knee at first. I get that. But it wasn't that it was a lot. It was easy. It was just, I was holy, how am I doing all of this? This is really what, that's where the epiphany really kind of kicked in. And I was proud of it, went in there and killed it. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely slayed that day. I was there for 19 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, that's my point. When you're a chef, you don't ask questions. You just got to do it, and so when we killed it, I made the entire staff go out front and get their thank yous and stuff like that. Because sometimes you do with big dinners, they'll ask. And a couple of times that they did, I sent the staff out. I went out back to smoke a joint. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. It's a mentorship, as is anything. It's one of those things where you can definitely tell a person by what they do versus what they say. That's great. You can sound awesome, but can you do it? You know what I mean? And that's where it's, well, personally, to be honest with you, I don't think that you wouldn't be where you're at if you couldn't do what you say. You understand? I've heard a lot about, THC 123, and I remember meeting you, and I'm like, dude, I've heard nothing but good things. Honestly, if I was looking for, cannabis HR immediately right now, I will be here soon, and I know who to call. That's not even a question. That's honestly anarchy if you think about it. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Because you're like, wait a minute, though. Anarchy isn't, bringing down the totalitarian government and all that shit. That's not what it is. Anarchy's buying milk straight from a fucking farmer. Mm-hmm. Anarchy's buying milk straight from the dude that's got, the cow farm. He's got, buying the eggs from the chicken coop. That's my point. You do HR. So if I hire you to do HR, technically, that's anarchy. You see my point? So you're kind of cutting out the middleman that taxes it, if you will, and you're cutting out the corporate, what's the word, vibe, if you will. I know you have to create some kind of standard and some kind of, human relations and stuff like that. But at the same time, that is a necessary, like you said earlier, HR is one of those things that's a necessary evil. Sometimes we hate it, but it's a necessity. We have to have it, because let's face it, you can't care about the caregivers first if you're focused on other shit. You're right. You're absolutely right. I think there's a huge place for that, man. And like I said, dude, you're going to be going on and doing huge things if you're not already doing them. Speaking of doing huge things, we've learned where you came from a little bit. We've learned where you want to go. We learned why you do what you do. When we come back after this message from Resrid, make sure you clean your pieces, y'all. We're going to find out where you're going with what you're doing. After this, real fast, y'all. Resrid. That's Resrid, y'all. Resrid.com. Make sure you guys go check them out. There's new Resrid bombs on the market where you can literally just take it with you, tear it open, throw it on your piece, clean it on the fly, rinse it out. So if you take your pieces with you, you can clean them out somewhere. Yo, we've reached the planned dubs. The planned dubs is that last little dub of the show where we find out what would you do if given a certain choice or in a certain situation. That helps us better understand where you're going to go later on, in your career. So without any other further dilly-dallying, man, I'm going to ask you the question of the night, if you're ready. Yeah. Dead or alive? Who would you smoke with, dead or alive?
Jesus.
I'm with it. That's the first time I've ever heard Jesus. I've heard Satan before. I'm joking. But no, why would you smoke with Jesus, bud?
Dude, Jesus was the original hippie. What do you think? What bush do you think Moses was burning? You know what I mean? I went to Catholic school. They taught me all of that, but they always just kind of left out how important marijuana was, and it was censored. So let's uncensor it.
I'm with that. I will agree with that. Okay.
People think Jesus was always like super holy. I mean, that dude was in the temple flipping over tables. Jesus was a gangster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was.
So,
he was an illusionist too.
He is. Crazy dude.
But I say illusionist in a joking manner. If my mom heard me talking ill will about her Lord and Savior, she'd tell me to go to Switch. She told me to go to Switch. I jest, but I get that. I like that. So what would you smoke with Jesus? Would you be like, yo, here's my Puffco?
I'd probably rip some jabs with Jesus. Get him real high. Get him 2021 high.
You motherfuckers need Jesus. No, I feel that. Like, I also feel he'd be like, yo, check this out. This ain't even hit stores yet. Like, this is from the year, like, 40 AD or some shit. Here you go, try that.
Yeah, and then start walking on water and shit. That's what I'm saying. I need some of that shit.
So, how much? Think about it. Like, how much influence do you think cannabis would have in the Bible and history and stuff if we didn't strike? We struck this shit. It's not there. It should be there. There's evidence proving that it is.
CHBOSM, cannabism. Many people, look at the ingredients, and it's actually the ingredients of Jesus's anointing oil, and it calls for 5 pounds of pungent leaf.
Yep.
Now, Rodney, you're a chef. If you had to go on a limb, what do you think that pungent leaf would be? Do you think it would be this marshland swampland leaf, or do you think it's weed? Do you think CBD and all of the healing properties of the plant was used to heal the lepers? I do, and I think that's the story that's not being told, and I want to get Jesus high so we can tell that.
Like a truth serum. Like its own truth serum. Like, listen, no, it's a puff. Exactly. You're going to smoke this Puffco, and it's going to tell you the truths. It's going to tell you, you got to tell me the truths. That's what it is. And if you don't, well, you will. You're Jesus. You can't not do that. But no, I feel you. Like, and you're absolutely right. There's also some other ingredients to that, and I actually have that somewhere. The anointing oil. A buddy of mine out of Boston. Myrrh. Yep. Frankincense, myrrh. There's something else in it. Because he's like, hey, what do you think it smells like? And I was like, Catholicism. And he laughed about it. I was like, I'm not wrong, though. He's like, you're not wrong, though. I was like, But that's the point. It's an ancient anointing oil that had cannabis in it, 100%. And for years they didn't. It's just frankincense. No, stop fucking lying to us. I find it funny that all of our lives we were told that invisible fucking friends don't exist and shit, and then every Sunday morning those same parents saying the same thing or sitting in church, and people were like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, listen, no. It's about the faith. It's about the faith. What do you read the scripts and disbelieve in, or what? I believe in all religions. That is my point. Very few people do.
Spirituality.
Exactly. And I mean, I have my favorite. I am pagan. That's where I land. But I believe that there's different walks of life, and I believe that there's different people out there. For that, there's going to have to be different theologies. For that, we're going to have to respect, okay, maybe don't kill a fucking, cow in the middle of Delhi, India. You know what I mean? The same as I wouldn't, that's kill a wolf in Denmark. You know what I mean? So, like, obviously these things are different and there's different views. What I don't agree with is a lot of what our ancestors did is literally fought and killed each other over these views. I don't think that would have happened with cannabis, but the point is, like, people are like, hey, do we really have to go today, though? Because, like, yo, we just rolled up. Can we just smoke that and go tomorrow? And then, like, you figure out that it's, like, some huge storm. Like, yo, maybe we don't have to do this at all. Yeah. I would have made a very, very, very terrible soldier. Facts. I would have been like, but they're not shooting at me now, and you want me to shoot at them? That's not going to work for me. That's just asking, but I told you I don't care. Like, it's just, I don't want to do it. But, there's a lot of people who I do respect that do, lay down their lives every single day for that. And I think that there are good people in cannabis. I think there are great people in cannabis. I think there are bad people in cannabis. And that's just that's the nature of the fucking beast, because that can be said literally anywhere. You know what what I mean? Unfortunately, human beings were that way. I think that you're among one of the good people, and I can say that. Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I didn't say that in fishing in any way, so thank you. But I think that you're on the road to be great. I think that we're going to see great things come from you. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. I've seen how you've presented yourself, you understand? And people undervalue that at this point in time. So I want you to think back about a movie that we've all seen, The Matrix. Okay, I want you to think back to that movie back then was pretty good, spin of a yarn, cool, pretty good story. Now look at it now. Always far ahead of its time. Think about it. That was that movie when DVD came out, when my mom called it Div-Dub, which that's not how that rolls, but I love her to death, R.I.P. But the point is, Matrix came out, and then you had all that CGI and all of those awesome, special effects, which, years later, people are like, who gives a shit? You've missed the point of the story, though. You know what I'm saying? You've one group of people fighting against this entire robot in nature, and they take him down, and da-da-da-da. That's an underdog story that I want to hear. In addition to all the stories of the people who, hey, fuck it, I'm doing this for the right reason, man. You know what I mean? I'm doing this because I give a shit. I want to heal people. I want to fix people. Yeah. And quite honestly, I've put my, it's a career shift, but that's going to happen when you mix, a market brand new like this, and you mix it with COVID and everything of that. Listen, it's a career shift for me. Now I put weed and food, and it's fucking great. You know what I mean? I make a lot more money now, and I'm happier than I've ever been. And I'm getting even happier. And I smoke weed all day.
Also
fuck. You know what I mean? That's amazing. Like, people actually want to know my opinion. They're like, hey, taste this gummy. What does it taste like? And I'm like, that tastes like distillate. Don't do that.
Don't give me
Don't do that. They're like, you're going to love it in 15, 20 minutes. Not so much. Like, it's still in my mouth. It is what it is. But there are some good distillates out there. No, there's not. There's not any good distillates out there. I lied. That's me lying. I'm sorry. I can't. If something's made from like a live hash rosin, different story. It's not distillate. If it's made from like a butter or a fat, again, different story. Not distillate. Distillate's just why? But that's just me. That's just me. Again, just me. If you do like distillate, that's fine. That's great. It has its place, just not for me. I have strong convictions about distillate, but we've reached the end of the show, man. I can't thank you enough to actually being on here. Like that's how, especially like on today of all days, man. I really excited for THC 123. Absolutely. Oh, there you go. Love it, man. Love it. I used to have the Adidas shirt, but it was the one from Korn. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. All day I dream about sex, which I was 17, so pretty on par. But man, I appreciate you coming on the show today. THC 123, go check out my man. If you're looking for like HR, cannabis HR, your small or commercial business, definitely hit him up. If you've got questions, I'm sure you'll hit him up on the email, hit him up on the website. He'll answer your questions. That's what he's there for. This is what he does, man. I feel better having sat down. Exactly. You know what? Here, let's pop it up one more time, real quick. 3, 2. THC123.com. My Canna Jobs. Don't forget the capital letters there. .com as well. I honestly can't stress enough like how much like you're going to be busy this next year, dude. It's coming with consumption lounges too. Oh,
bring it on.
It's amazing. But now I'm glad that we actually had you on and we're able to talk about THC123.com, mycannajobs.com. I think hearing that you put patients' rights first and the caregivers first, you're on the right track. At least you're doing it for the right reasons. I ain't got to worry about it. You know what I mean? Not that it's any of my business, but it's just like I feel better having known that. Does that make sense?
One love.
You know what I mean? So that's exactly where it's at. Like, I wasn't trying to stumble over that, but that's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. Sometimes you have to fucking stumble over some words to get fucking moving forward or something stupid like that. But here we are at the other end of Daily Chronicles. I will figure out something cool to say here eventually, but my tokers, my jokers, my smokers, I'm Chef Rodney, the amazing Anthony Sabatella, THC123.com. You guys have a good one. Have a blessed day. Religious or not, have a blessed day. Stay lifted, y'all. Smoke up and easy. Peace.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boy.
Tell me, how has cannabis impacted your life?
Now, this is something I've been asked a few times now. The answer is simple. It gave me my life back. Over the years of putting a flame to a pan or mincing onions, I've learned that state of mind is a powerful thing. Far too often do we let things like anxiety and depression take the wheel and steer us. The use of cannabis has taught me the importance of self-care, which has allowed me to take a step back, observe, deduce, and calculate my feelings and emotions. This has helped me in so many ways in and out of the kitchen. That I believe in this so much, I've decided to change my life and help erase the stigma behind the devil's lettuce. This is where I choose to tell my story with flavors and terpenes. Only this is where I add my own flavor, a flavor that can help people heal as I did, cannabis. So grab a joint, light it up, and come with me as I embark on this journey. This is Deliciously Dope, a journey into the world of culinary cannabis.
My name's Emilio. I'm a snowbank fighter. Training for the past few days now. It's gonna be happening in Mexico or South America or something. The official uniform, we got ourselves a parka with the black, on the black. Skin, pudgy skin. I don't know why the fuck they told us to wear these, but yeah, there's plaid and we got the khakis, boots because it's snow, fingerless gloves. So yeah, let's get into some of my tips of training. Hip toss. Oh. Ooh, fuck mine.
Hey Muley, I gotta tell you something.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something, Mr. Cat. Yeah, I don't use the word dog like everyone else. I use cat. See those snowbanks? My bitch. My pussy bitch. See? Got my black cat. That is where my region goes into because I kill them. Got lethal fingers and lethal pussy. Oh, you want it? Hoi me, Chino. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I'm gonna take all those Mexican snowbanks to shit.
Alright, this is fucked. Emilio, I gotta tell you something.
What?
There's no SCBC or whatever the fuck you said earlier.
What the fuck you talking about, man? You give me a document to sign,
It's all fake. It was just for my math class or something.
What? How much I cried snow in 7 seconds? Really, my life is just fake. Coming to a theater that's probably gonna be near you. What are you doing? This is my home. I have to piss, and this is the only tree that I piss on. You're willing to die for that piss? Yes. Blue Dork Times calls it a raging hard-on hitting fun time. Sure is a fine, beautiful day. Other Face magazine says their English has improved. The piss was more powerful. Tree defenders coming sometime within the So I said, that's no tsunami, that's my wife.
Oh, That's fucking
That joke gets me every time.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty funny. Oh man, dude, I'm pretty fucking game. Think I can get one of those?
Why don't you get a glass to shut the fuck up instead? Taking my fucking smokes all goddamn night.
You know what, man? Go for a glass of that right about now. Oklahoma. Now I can shut the fuck up.
Shut the Fuck Up comes in 4 irresistibly delicious flavors: alcohol of blueberry, orangey yellow, pomegranate, and chocolate. Drink the fuck up and shut the fuck up today.
We're shutting the fuck up.
No, it's terrible. Fuck me. This fucking turpentine is fucking bullshit, dude.